on in here.
Yeah, you got it. You got your Wi-Fi the other day when I was hiking
in
the
the
woods.
deep thicket of the woods.
Yeah.
I was talking to you.
But I'm already on. I don't know why she can't be on. So I just want to say hello to all those people who are listening out there. What you're seeing now is commish-like. We do the outtakes and the intakes and everything. And this is what we're doing. Barbara, she Miss Barbara. I want to show everyone respect. So, that's what we do here on Heaven 97.
When is Commish Life on? When is Commish Life on?
Oh, that's at the other station.
What's the other station?
Fishbone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That one?
Yeah. That's
okay.
where my friend
you live now. Who?
The policeman.
Oh, Police Talk 101.
Yeah,
How come you're not in there that deal today? Oh, that's right, because you're here with me.
See,
LaTanya Spencer.
But you know what? LaTanya didn't invite me, nor did what's my police brother's name? The guy that runs police talk. What's his name? I know him personally. We're good friends.
She don't even know his name. She don't even know his name.
I do know his name.
Just like I talked to you one time back in 19.
I'm gonna turn your phone off in a minute.
All right. This is part 2. We're going to go ahead and let this fade on out. Then we're going to go back to the interview. How many minutes we got? 18 minutes.
What is his name?
We get ready to go live. Let me go ahead and get this radio voice on. Okay. KHVN, and you've been listening to Hey, I Believe. Now you got me all tongue-tied and everything.
That's on you.
Sounds of Blackness. All right, Sounds of Blackness. I love Sounds of Blackness. That's my beat. That's my time from back in my era. But this is the era that we're dealing with now. We're dealing with the era of, mass incarceration. We're dealing with the era of black manipulation by the police. And these are the topics that we are talking about in social justice on the Commish Radio Show and the Community Champion Hour. We have Dr. Sharam C. Patterson here. And you have been very active in social justice. How did you get involved in that?
I believe strongly that the scripture says, unto whom much is given, much is required. And God has blessed my life richly, and I have a very low tolerance to seeing other people mistreated. And I know that I have been given this platform and power to be somebody else's blessing. And so I get angry, I get upset when I see somebody done wrong. Example, that little girl up in McKinney at the pool party.
Right.
Watching that video of that policeman sitting on top of her and harassing those kids just ripped me up on the inside. That's why I partnered with a wonderful policeman, and we had an event called Where Do We Go From Here? Black Women and the Police. Because there were so many incidents of black women being mistreated. So I have a good rapport with the police. And hello, police who are listening, I have a good rapport with you. But my goal is to end police discrimination. And Ed, this might sound crazy, but I don't care. My dad was a policeman for 32 years. And back in our hometown of North Carolina in Charlotte, the police and the black community had a good relationship. And I want us to get back to that. The community would turn over the bad ones. Now we kind of hide them, say, "Oh, that's Ray, that's Bobo, don't bother him."
Now, McKinney Pool Party. That's what you were referring to earlier. McKinney Pool Party. We're going to have Attorney Kim Cole and Attorney Allison Grinder, who will be on the show talking about the McKinney Pool Party, which is Kim Cole, and then also the sister Crystal Mason, who was arrested and also sentenced for 5 years.
For what?
For voting. And it seems like we talk about war on black men. It's a war on sisters too.
Definitely. Sentencing her to 5 years is just trying to make us afraid to vote, pushing us even further back from the ballot box, even though we're making all these gains. I'm so proud of all these sisters making these political gains. The new mayor of San Francisco is a black woman, and we're looking for this sister in Georgia, my Spelman sister, to hopefully win this gubernatorial race in Georgia. So we are making great strides.
And we're making great strides in Dallas, Fort Worth. Well, Dallas, Fort Worth, you guys got to work on that a little bit. But Dallas, we are making great strides in that.
We are, but even though we make strides, I think society still pushes us back. Ed, I have never, and I'm glad of this, seen racial tension this high before in my life. Older people have, but people in our generation, all this is new. But it is so, you can cut the tension with a knife sometimes. It's so tense and uncomfortable and dangerous. I mean, many black people wake up every morning saying, am I going to make it home safe? Will I be detained by the police? What's going to happen to me? We become paranoid.
And quote, they live in quote unquote good neighborhoods too.
Sure.
You know, so it's not like a situation where someone in the hood say, well, there's a policeman that's going to do something to me. There's a situation in well, it could very well happen if I'm leaving class one late night at SMU.
Definitely. I have many friends that have graduated from SMU who can give stories of being pulled over because they were in Highland Park and were questionable or curious. You know, what are you doing here? Why are you driving through here? All the time. Nothing new.
Were you ever stopped in Highland Park?
I was never stopped in Highland Park. Probably because I was driving a really cute little sports car with a personalized plate. But...
So they thought you were like a member of the SMU football team, right?
Yeah. Or somebody's dark-skinned daughter.
Now, when I was at SMU and I had my lights to go out, one of my lights go out, I was scared. I was tight.
As you should.
Yeah, that was like 3 months ago.
Oh.
It wasn't like a long time ago. It was like 3 months ago.
So you're at SMU now?
I'm finishing up my doctorate.
In what?
Well, you know, human rights.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I want to be called doctor like you.
A doctorate in human rights?
Yeah, we have the Embry Human Rights Program.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm so glad to know about that.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Next time I'm on campus, we can invite you to speak.
You should. You know, I'm one of the trustees.
Right.
So I'm more than happy to come talk to y'all.
Now, are you familiar with? Well, we'll talk offline. Okay. You know, we got to get back. They they listening in and they want to hear stuff.
I know Denise Lee. Hi.
I know Denise Lee too. How you doing, Denise? So now, going back to the social justice and the human rights, what we have going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yes.
Do you think it's trending correctly?
I think Dallas mirrors all the other cities. I think Dallas proper has not had a major, well-documented police brutality incident. It's always been the surrounding cities, to my knowledge. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't still fight. We have to be vigilant and stay on top of things and never assume it can't be you. And that's what I think a lot of comfortable black people assume. Oh, that's for somebody else to worry about. That won't be me. And it very well could be you next or someone you love.
That's sort of somewhat mirrors, as you stated before, American society, black American society, in which some black people felt that after President Obama was elected in 2009, and someone came up with this nice article saying a post-racial society, that it was a post-racial society, and now we find out there's no such thing.
Yeah, I want to know who wrote that article because they were truly misinformed.
And misguided.
Misguided,
yes.
Very naive, whoever it was.
Well, we seem to have a proliferation of more police shootings when it came to black men.
Yes.
It's like I've said many times before, they couldn't get the black man in the White House, so any man would do.
Correct. Exactly.
And in this case, sometimes what Sandra Bland, any woman, could do as well.
Exactly. We are an endangered people right now. And the level of fear that so many Anglos have upon us is ridiculous. Going from the young lady at the school, what was it? It wasn't Harvard, it was Yale.
Right.
Yeah, just the presence of a black body instills so much fear in people. That's where we are, and that's dangerous for us because our even in Starbucks,
right.
You know, just being somewhere, the black body out in public is now endangered.
Are we going to get beyond that? Do you honestly think we are?
Ed, I don't know. I think if we can get new leadership from the White House, because it trickles down. I believe he stirred the pot and unleashed all of the hate mongers who had gone underground. if we can get somebody in the White House who is peaceful, gets along with all races, who has read my book, and I teach how to disagree without being disagreeable.
Now, what's the name of that book again?
Lead yourself now. It's an imperative. But I also teach humility. I teach how to apologize. I teach servant leadership. If we can get somebody like that in the White House, all those good traits will trickle down and America will be in a better place. We're in a bad place now, nationally and internationally, because they see who we have leading us. And then our own friends like Canada are saying, what's up? Right?
Canadians are known to be even-tempered.
Yes, they are.
Now, if you can get a Canadian man,
you have really
done something. It's like, it's like Canada going like, well, okay, what, I'm really mad now.
Yes.
I don't want to spend too much time, on the president itself.
Okay.
Because we could go on and on about that, and I truly want us to do just that. But your leadership characteristics, that's in the book.
Yes.
Could you tell our listeners what could be a great trigger for a good man or woman to be great?
What's a great trait?
Trigger.
Trigger?
Right.
I don't understand.
Now, what I'm just saying, what triggered me to do what I do in politics and social justice is something that happened to me a long
Motivation.
time ago. Well, motivation.
Oh. Well, what also motivated me, Ed, was going to school in Atlanta at Spelman and being in the Atlanta University Center. We are really drenched in the afterglow of M.L. King. It's alive and well. His sacrifice, his leadership, his devotion to the community, and it just saturates and gets inside your soul. And so I believe I was also influenced by M.L. King and his desire to be a public servant. You have to stop being so self-centered and become community-centered and basically care about somebody else. And that's a challenge in our world because we are obsessed with selfies and taking care of us. But it takes a village, and we must support the village. And a village of all colors. My village has white people in it, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans. It's got to be everybody.
Now, the sexism.
Mm-hmm.
The Me Too movement.
Yes.
Could you address the Me Too movement?
I am so glad it came along. I couldn't believe it came along. I want to remind everybody, that was started by a black woman years ago who created it as a means of helping women who have been sexually assaulted in the low-income areas get self-esteem.
Now, wait a minute. Come on. Are we being real here? You mean it was a black lady?
A black lady.
A black lady did that?
Yes, she started the hashtag Me Too. Then recently, it got picked up by some high-profile people, and it's off to the races. Isn't that interesting?
And the interesting part about that as well is that black women, the preponderance of these cases should really be on black women because they are the ones at the lower end of the economic spectrum that are more liable to be placed in these situations. But however, it's white actresses that have
taken it and run with it. The Me Too movement should have been going on during slavery. It would have made a whole big difference in our lives. That's when it should have taken place. But as you said, majority actresses have taken it and run with it, and I think it's necessary. I think I know men who are sexist and who feel that they can just grab women at any point, any time, need to be put in check. And that would be a lot of athletes, a lot of rich, privileged men, and then some non-athletes, poor men, all men who think women are objects that you can control and manipulate and are here to serve at your beck and call. It's a new day.
Do you think this is going to be just a phase?
I hope not. I hope it serves as a training for boys. Men, train your boys now not to grab on women and call them names and harass them, so when they're...
A lot of people are calling me, and I'm just going to have to put a D in, do not disturb on my phone on this one. And I'm glad that we are having this opportunity to talk about the Me Too movement. There was criticism about Bill Cosby on the Me Too movement.
Why?
Well, some people indicated that was just something to get a black man.
If it was one or two cases, certainly. But this brother had a pattern. He had a decade-long pattern, and it cut me to the core because Bill. I wrote about him in my book.
You wrote about him in the book
Bill
too?
Cosby.
Which one of the
books? He was
books?
my father. This one right here.
This one?
I mean, I just mentioned his name.
You mentioned his name?
He was my father. He was America's father. We loved and adored him, and to know that he was drugging women and raping them was unconscionable. Bill Cosby is guilty as sin. Wasn't nobody trying to get a black man? He was guilty. Now, there are some other cases where black men have been targeted. Not this one. No. It was you saw like 30, 40 women, right?
Right.
So, I mean, all of them couldn't have been making it up.
Like 39 out of 40 of them.
It happened.
It happened.
And I'm also in favor of all the schools that gave back Bill took back the doctorate from him. I'm a graduate of Spelman. They get back all the money.
They gave back all the money.
And it was a lot. Ooh, Bill Cosby. It was several million. They say here.
Now, when you talk about fathers, and we're going to close out. We got 4 minutes to talk. Yes.
Where'd the time
Yes, the
go?
time went just like that. You lost your father a couple years back.
Yes.
And for Father's Day, let's just close out and give a tribute to our fathers, and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
All right?
You go.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first. This is for my father, Joe Louis Gray. I lost him about 15 years ago. Well, 1999. I don't have time to do the math because I only got 4 minutes now. So in this situation, he taught me a lot about being a man, but I do recall one time that he told me to clean the front yard and rake up all the leaves. And all the leaves were raked up except the leaves that were behind the shrubs. And he came out and he looked immediately in the shrubs and said, "Hey, look, you didn't finish the job." I said, "Daddy, nobody will be able to see that." He said, "But I did." When it comes to doing your best, you need to get between the shrubs. That's what this is about. So he went back inside the house. It was late at night, and I was out there till about 10 o'clock raking leaves up. I came back in and I told him, "Hey, the leaves were already raked up. Do you want to see?" And he said, "No, I know you did it because you were out there that long." But this is what we need to do, is give a tribute to those people who made sure that what we were able to do later on in life was something as simple as getting between the shrubs or influencing other people.
Amen. How many minutes do I have?
You have 2.
All right. My father, William Cecil Covington Jr., passed away 3 years ago, and my heart is still tender. I'm an only child, and my father taught me the importance of loving myself and being myself, because he spent time with me, he listened to me, he invested in me and poured into me, just presence. And so many women today are looking for a father figure or looking for love from men in all the wrong places, but he showed me love and gave me a great role model for what healthy love is. And so now that I know what healthy love is, I know how to give it and to receive it. And so to all the dads out there with daughters, I want to tell them, make sure you spend time with your daughter. Listen to her, understand her, accept her, treasure her, so she's able to do that for herself as well. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. And as we roll out, I'd like to thank all of those people who are listening in to KHVN Community Champion Hour. And I would also like to say Happy Father's Day to all of those fathers that are out there that are listening in. Barbara, take us home with some music, and we're out of here.
Enjoy the Community Champion Hour. I give you some music right after that.